ICAR Umiam, especially Dr. Jayantalayak and Krishnappa and others. So I'm Dr. Anup Das, Principal Scientist. I served as a Principal Scientist till 2018 at Umiam, and now I am serving at ICAR Tripura Center. And before I initiate my talk, I would just again like to pay my homage to our best colleague and friend, Dr. Gulab Singh Jadhav, who has served for long in the Northeast, especially in Tripura Center, and contributed immensely in science, especially for natural resource management. And recently he was posted in IRI, and yesterday morning he has breathed his last. So again, we pay our homage to him and tribute to him. So coming back to our topic, package of practices for organic crop production for Northeast India. So I could see that large number of participants from outside the Northeast. So probably we have to tell a bit about the region. And it is good that Dr. Jayantalayak has already given a glimpse, and probably now you are already aware of the region. So coming back to the topic here, as our director sir and some of the previous speakers has already told, that actually the use of organic agrochemicals in this region is actually very, very less. And special feature is that very high soil organic carbon content. It starts from 1.5% in valleys like Tripura, up to 1% and 1.5%. It goes very high in areas like Sikkim and all, 3.5%. So there is a very high opportunity. It is as against in our plains of North India, where we can go even up to 0.15, 0.2, 0.3 and all. So this is a very positive side of this region. And we have a lot of climate diversity, starting from subtropical up to alpine zone in the region. So a diverse crop can be grown in the region. And throughout the year, same crop can be grown in one or other place. And therefore, there is a high potential for export also. Availability of very good quantity of organic manure, it is as high as 46 million tons of various biomass, including crop residues. So considering around 10 million, around 4 million hectare of cultivated area in the region, so we have around 10 ton organic manure per hectare availability, so which is a quite good amount. And also we have a little more than 0.8 lakh hectare of shifting cultivated area in the region, which as such cannot be certified as organic, but there are generally no inorganic chemicals are used. But only negative side is that there is a lot of degradation and burning. So we have to manage those aspects. So they cannot be called as organic farming, but they can be called as ecological or something like natural farming. And we have a lot of time-tested integrated farming system. And as our directors are told, people's wisdom. I could see one of the questions that how organic farming in the region is not by default and how it is by wisdom. So the philosophy is that the people, they actually themselves, they would like to remain organic. In some of the areas, even if you give them inorganic like fertilizer even freely, they are not interested to apply. So this is the way we are telling that many of the people, they actually they would like to remain as organic by their wisdom. And number of niche crops which are very specific to this region, very, very known for their high quality. For example, Johar rice of Assam, aromatic rice of Tripura, like Harinarayana, like Kalikasha, they are very high quality rice. Like rice from Manipur, we have black rice. It is highly costed rice. Ginger of Northeast, they are low in fiber content. Turmeric, it is high in curcumin content. The pineapple of Tripura, the queen pineapple, it is known worldwide. So many other, like king chili, it is one of the pungent chili of the world, the cardamom, the maize, medicinal plants, the pulses. So they are having high quality, and probably they can have high export market. All the households are maintaining livestock, especially pig, poultry, cattle, and mostly those are of indigenous animals. And as high as 26 million cattle population is there. So there is a good amount of availability of animal-based excreta. And mega biodiversity center, this region is one of the mega biodiversity centers. So there is a lot of variation in crops, and we can have starting from vegetables. There is a lot of biodiversity, fruits, animals, whatnot, and rich biocultural heritage. And coming back to organic area in the region, most of the area is actually in the Sikkim, which is the only state in India declared as organic in 2016 by our honorable PM. The state has gone for more than 10 years of transition period before this in a phased manner, starting from seed production, reducing the use of agrochemicals, from producing farmers organization, marketing, seed production, so many things they have done. So that is actually a very big learning story. So anybody of you are interested, you can really contact with our joint director in ICAR Tripura Center or Sikkim government for learning that. So most of our area in the region is actually in Sikkim. So we have little more than 1 lakh hectare in the region as compared to maybe more than 14 lakh hectare in the country. And of course, in the country, probably we have more than 3.5 lakh hectare considering the wild harvest and all. So what is organic farming? I am not going to tell, but what are the major aspects of organic farming? So there actually it starts from site selection. The site you select, for example, our Dr. Jayantala, he was telling that you have selected a few villages. In those villages, we have selected those villages where for last several years, they have never used any inorganic input. So those areas which are otherwise also ecological farming, they are practicing, or natural farming, they are practicing, and they are either not using or very minimal use of chemicals are there. So it is very easy to convert those areas to organic. But if the area is already under substantial use of agrochemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides, then we have to go in a phase-wise manner. Starting from, for example, initially we may have to reduce the quantity of agrochemicals, and then we have to follow integrated approach. For example, curtailing 25% of agrochemicals, then substituting it with organic manure or organic inputs, then 50%, then 75%, and then slowly moving towards this. Sudden replacement that may cause a huge yield loss, and that farmer's economic point of view, that may not be good. So we have to give a buffer zone. We cannot have organic or inorganic in the same place, same field. So there should be sufficient buffer zone. It is better to go for cluster approach. That means whole village or whole cluster organic is better than in a same village or same home or same field, 50% organic, 50% inorganic. That will be very tough. So there should be some buffer zone. Crop production plan should be prepared in a way that, for example, if you are going for ginger or turmeric for organic farming or organic production, considering that they are having high demand in the national and international market. But once we go for organic production of ginger, turmeric, or maize, for example, so they are exhaustive crop, so they will really degrade or deplete soil fertility. So we have to immediately think for going for some crop which will build soil fertility, like pulses, or which will require less nutrient, or deep-rooted crop followed by short-rooted crop. So those are the principles of crop production we have to follow. And conversion from conventional to organic farming, as I told just that if we are using too much of inorganic fertilizer, then you have to go in a phase-wise manner. If there is a low use of fertilizer, then we may go a little early. So probably in that case, conversion period will be less. But if you are using intensive use of chemicals, then conversion period will be more, let's say 3, 4, or 5 years. But if the area like Northeast, where there is very less use of chemicals or no use of chemicals in some areas, so there 2 to 3 years will be the conversion period. So conversion period is actually that period which takes a soil or system to convert to organic. So by the time when production under organic plot and production under conventional plot will be statistically similar, we can tell that our plot is already converted to organic. So it is for those students or those others who want to learn. Landscape management, suppose in a plain field, or you have a hilly areas like Northeast, so you have a lot of sloping land. So in the top of the hill, we can have the natural forest. In the mid hills, we can have fruits, or crops like ginger, turmeric, which requires better drainage. But in the valleys, we can have rice, and then water harvesting structures, then we can have fish and all. So these are the important component of actually organic farming for successful actually farming. And then farm diversification, it is very important, because as I told at the beginning, suppose if you are having a exhaustive crop, then in that field we should also have some kind of vegetables and some kind of other crops which will not only meet the nutritional requirement of the farmers, but also maintain soil fertility. It will promote efficient recycling of resources. For example, we may have to integrate animals based upon the choice of the locality, the socio-economic requirement. In some area, there may be pig in demand. In some other area, goat may be in demand. In some area, cattle may be in demand. So what are the resources available? If we have more of, for example, tuber crops, then we can go for pig. If we have more of green grasses, fodder grasses, we may go for cattle. So based upon the resources, based upon the interest, based upon the demand in the locality, we have to identify component and then see that one component is integrated with another. So that is actually the integrated farming system component. So diversification as well as integration. So those are very important aspect of any farming, and here also this will reduce the risk, it will enhance income, it will provide better nutrition. Seed and planting material is the basic requirement for success of any organic farming or any other farming. So you should have the good quality seed. Try to have the seeds of required quantity and quality from the known source, because if your seed is not good, then full your planning will be actually you will be a loser. So from beginning itself, we have to start seed. Many a time we can tell that the seed we are getting from the market are actually inorganic, and then how to start organic. So to begin with, let us start with whatever seed we have available, and then from next year we can just save our own seed and treat with locally available materials like it may be chili powder, or it may be cow urine, or any ITKs we can follow, or also commercially available bioorganics are there, seed treatment materials are there that can be also used. Nutrient management, it is most important aspects of organic farming, and water management. Without water, we cannot do any farming, plant protection, and post-harvest processing and value addition. Without this, the farmer's income cannot be actually enhanced. This last component should be given maximum emphasis. So what should be our actually approach? Approach should be that integration of compatible components. We cannot simply integrate two components which are not compatible. So for example, if you are growing a tuber crops, then there should be pig. Like this, if you are having a poultry, then there should be maize and soybean. So the integration of compatible components, even we have seen that rice and soybean, they are coming very good together. So there is actually a synergistic synergistic interaction. So both the crops are getting benefited. So there will be less requirement of external inputs and more of recycling of bioresources. Crop diversification, I told, for example, rice plus pulses, maize plus rice bean, ginger, soybean, they will be win-win situation. One will be building fertility, another will be depleting fertility. So also this will enhance income and reduce the risk. Organic manuring to stimulate cell biological activity, it is most important component. Selecting pest and disease resistant variety is probably the very important aspect of the organic farming. Our previous speaker, he also told that actually the nitrogen management and pest and disease management in organic farming is most challenging. However, with your experience and over the year involvement, we can find out that the resistant varieties, the tolerant varieties, and the risk can be reduced actually substantially. Then careful use of selected biological control techniques, naturally occurring plant extracts and minerals. There are so many naturally occurring plant extracts are there that if you are using, for example, eupatorium extracts, lantana extracts, then neem extract, they really helps. Mechanical control like ferment traps, we have seen it is a very useful mechanism. Then light traps and ITKs are available in each and every region. For example, in the Northeast or maybe in many other parts, we are also using the ash from the kitchen. So this will also enhance the potassium content and also reduce the pest and disease problem. And some commercial biopesticides are there. There are several debated issues. I don't know if Dr. Jayanto has covered, because that last 5 or 10 minutes I could not connect in the presentation. So these are some of the debated issues. Can organic farming produce enough food? Is it possible to meet the nutrient requirement for crops in organic farming? Are there any significant environmental benefit of organic farming? Is food produced by organic farming superior in quality? Or is ecological farming economically feasible? Is it possible to manage pest and disease? My answer to all of these are yes, but there is no shortcut. We have to really go the systematic manner. We have to see that we are following all package of practices, principles of crop production, and to produce enough food. For example, in our Northeast, where farmers are otherwise also using very less input, or rather no input. Here, if we go for scientific organic farming, by scientific organic farming, I mean supply of organic inputs like vermicomposting, like farmyard manure, if you are using biofertilizer, if you are using then residue recycling, if you are using proper weed management, if you are doing, so automatically there is enhancement in yield. By replacing variety, you have seen that 10, 20, 30% yield enhancement is there. So by following organic farming, it is actually possible to meet all these challenges. However, we have to follow in systematic manner. So why it is useful? You know, it conserves natural resources, it reduces pollution. We are getting that byproduct of livestock and crops, and we are able to eat in an appropriate manner. And then it is giving healthy soil as well as healthy food. There is good market demand, whether national, whether international, provide employment opportunities. There is packaging, there is production of inputs, there is marketing, so many other aspects where a farmer can really find some employment, and youths can come forward. In fact, so many youths are coming forward also nowadays. For example, in ginger, turmeric production, marketing, processing, packaging, so many other things. Even byproduct also, there is a lot of opportunity, like ginger oil, like curcumin, those can be extracted and marketed. Regenerate original ecosystem. If our ecosystem is degraded in Northeast also due to shifting cultivation and due to other faulty agricultural practices, so many regions are, so many areas are degraded. So if we follow organic farming and if we are able to adapt all those practices, then we can rehabilitate those degraded areas. And of course, it will reduce cost of production if we are able to have those input in our own farm. For example, if you're an organic farmer, if you want to purchase the organic input from the market, for example, vermicompost, then the farming, as we have seen from our own experience, it is not that much economical, especially in areas like Northeast, where the we are not able to get a premium price for our produce. But in other areas where there is double or triple of premium price, then probably this kind of farming will be okay. And production system will be, of course, eco-friendly if you are going for organic farming. And biomass, we are getting as a renewable resource. So these are some potential crops I have told also earlier: rice, maize, pulses, groundnut, mustard, banana, pineapple, jackfruit. It is really one of the most potential crops. They are grown naturally in the region. So there are others also organic. It can be simply harvested and sold in the market or processed as organic product. There is hardly any inputs supplied to those jackfruit plants, but it is better if we are able to manage it scientifically by providing organic inputs. Turmeric, black pepper, beans, there are a lot of potentiality. So the first principle of organic farming is that the soil should be made a living soil. That means there should be a lot of biological activity in the soil so that it is able to release the nutrient, hold the nutrient, mineralize the nutrient, or all other things. All essential nutrients should be made available to the crop in the required quantity. That means whether organic, whether inorganic, the plant, the animal, everybody needs the nutrient in the required quantity. So in organic farming also, you have to see that the nutrient required in organic farming, the crop required by the crop should be supplied. For example, in many a time we can tell that this produce is that in this field there is nothing is applied, so my produce is organic. No, because your crop is nutrient starved, so the produce may be deficient in one or two essential nutrients, and therefore it will not meet the nutrient requirement of the crop, and ultimately it will not be also nutritious for us. So that aspect should be kept in mind. And organic mulching, organic farming is also many times we used to call it as mulch farming. So organic mulching, it will not only conserve the resources in the field, but also in long term, when it will be degraded, it will be actually adding nutrient to the soil. Biological pest control, most important part of this organic farming. And of course, whatever farming we do, if the yield is not sustainable, that means if the yield is getting low and low over the years, then that will be not profitable. So you have to see that the yield is either similar or it is higher than the whatever you have been practicing earlier. So that is most important. And integration of viable component, as I told earlier, that you have to integrate various components. So soil and water management, crop management, plant protection, post-harvest value, post-harvest management and value addition. It is the most important component of organic farming. And in this four, if you can divide your field and manage one by one, so probably organic farming will become much more successful, starting from your rainwater harvesting, starting from soil conservation measures, starting from nutrient recycling, starting from integration of leguminous crop in the field, use of biofertilizer, use of indigenous techniques, all for soil and water management, making your natural resource more efficient. In crop management, is identifying efficient varieties, identifying good quality seed, what should be the crop rotation, what should be the diversification, when should be the earthing up should be given, how we should manage weed, so watering should be given, everything should be taken in care. Plant protection, weed, you know, is the most important pest of the any crop, so their weed management is very, very important. And identifying rotation, it will reduce pest and disease problem, it will also reduce the weed problem. And in post-harvest management, whatever we can do in our own way, for example, even turmeric, ginger, we can dry it, then we can grind it and package it, and then we can sell it as organic produce by making the farmers in group like farmers producer company and all. So we can get really a lot of demand. So I don't know, Dr. Jayanta again has covered or not again, because I was not there for last few minutes due to some problem. So in Balapani, Meghalaya, we have identified different varieties. We have, because the crop which is responding to inorganic farming, it may not actually respond equally in case of organic farming also. So responsiveness to organic farming is important. So we have tried to identify which are the varieties, which are the crops which will respond better to organic input management or organic farming. For example, in maize, we have seen RCM 1-3, it is giving higher co-build, whereas RCM 1-16, 61, and now it is named as Mega Maize 1 probably. So it is giving higher seed yield. So these are the in case of maize, for example. In case of French bean, we have identified this crop as most potential crop for organic farming in Northeast India because of several reasons. Number one, it is hardly having any proneness to pest and diseases. Number two, it is having very high demand in the market. It is shorter in duration, then it is easy to cultivate. And another thing is it is easy to fit in the cropping system. And it is high demand, high market price. So up to 10-ton green pot also have harvested. And you know, sometimes French bean price in the market goes as high as 100 rupees. So just you can understand what can be the economics, but it is not always true. Sometimes there is market glut. So therefore we suggest that we don't go for one crop at a time. Even the French bean seed also is very, very costly. 400, 500, 700 also have purchased the seed. So whether farmer can go for seed production, once they can go for seed production, the economy, the income will be very, very high. Same crop when you go for consumption purpose, the income is something. The same crop when we go for seed production purpose, income is triple or even quadruple. So these are the small aspects we have to keep in our mind. So for example, screening of maize varieties we have seen against stem borer and resistance reaction. Resistance reaction, for example, in maize, RCM 1-2, it is giving very good response, and we are able to get a good resistant reaction. And RCM 1-61 also, it is giving a good reaction. So these are the two varieties of maize which are found as a potential against stem borer and resistant reaction. And in case of tomato, we have screened several varieties, and we have found that some of the varieties which are having a high percent disease index, and some of the varieties which are giving low. And whereas in case of pot borer, of course, we did not find much difference. So you can see varieties like H86, it was highly prone to late blight. Whereas in some other varieties like Mega Tomato 2, it was the mostly resistant or near resistant. So we have to identify some varieties with how they're performing. You can see in Mega Tomato 2, it is giving highest productivity, 22.45 ton, compared to other varieties which are giving very, very low. So what I would like to tell is that in your own locality, in your own area, in your own state, we have to identify that which variety is giving more response to organic inputs compared to others. And of course, following cropping system and farming system approach is most important. Vermicomposting, all of you know, it is a way of recycling the farm biomass. But only thing I would like to tell here that if you would like to go for really organic farming, vermicomposting should be an integral part of your farm. Purchasing organic farm or vermicompost from market or other organic input from the market, except let us say like oil cake and some other biofertilizer and all, it's okay. But purchasing the bulky organic manure, which is the most important, because organic farming, the bulk of the nutrient actually is supplied through bulky organic manure. So like vermicompost, it is very, very important. So it has to be an integral part and efficient. There are earthworms which are very, very efficient in converting material to vermicompost very fast. For example, Asian aphoetida, this should be adopted as per your availability in your area. Vermiwash, it is just a side product of vermicomposting. Same thing you can follow in the tank and put the water one day earlier, and next day morning you collect it. So that vermiwash is very, very efficient. Azolla, it is very, very important depending upon location. For example, in mid altitude of Meghalaya, Azolla caroliniana is performing very well. But in your area, if it is having high temperature or it is in a lower altitude, then you can go for Azolla pinnata. So these are having it not only manages nitrogen, but also it reduces weed problem in crop production. liquid manure we have seen in our institute that it is performing very well. It is a high source of good source of phosphorus. For example, whatever cow urine you have in your farm, you collect it in a tank and put around 50 kg of fresh cow dung and leave it for a few days, for example 36 to 40 days, and we have seen that it is ready for use as a liquid manure after dilution. So green manuring, it is the most important aspect of organic farming. So wherever possible, we should go for green manuring. We rather suggest, let us go for a crop like soybean, like cowpea, short duration in nature, which may give some grain also, and at the same time, if it is serving multiple other uses beside green manuring, that will be good. So this is a crop like dhencha is very performing very well in our hilly ecosystem, especially. There is a terraces, so there is high soil and water loss. So whenever possible, we can divide the hilly slope into small spaces as it is shown here, and then we can grow hedgerow species. We have grown here tephrosia. There are many other species, flamingia, then your even perennial pigeon pea also can be grown. So when they are grown in the contours and making hedges, and in between those hedges we can cultivate, so it will conserve natural resources. And here in a year twice, thrice or four times we can prune those leaves and use it as a green manure. They are very rich in nitrogen content. For example, in case of tephrosia, as high as 3 to 3.5% nitrogen is there. So it can be mixed with the soil as a green leaf manure, or it can be used as a mulch, or it can be actually used for composting and then recycle back to the field. So it will enhance soil fertility, soil quality. So Panchagabha, we have checked, we have also tested in our institute, but it is not a primary source of nutrient, but it is good to use the resources efficiently. If your soil is fertile, if the soil nutrient is there, plant is not able to use it efficiently. So when we supply Panchagabha, it will enhance the use efficiency of available resources. Also, it reduces pest and disease problem to a great extent. But never ever go for Panchagabha only as a source of organic input, living this one FIM or vermicompost or other bulky manure. So only Panchagabha is no, but with other manure or other inputs plus Panchagabha, it's yes. It will really enhance use efficiency and also reduce pest and disease problem. Different weed biomass available in and around the farm. For example, Eupatorium, we have seen it is very rich in nutrient, and also when you use it, it improves soil fertility, and in long run also we are using it as a for soil moisture conservation for actually post rainy season crops. Elder leaf also is very good source of organic manure, especially green leaf manure. And organic cropping system, for location wise, we have to identify efficient cropping system as per the altitude, as per the requirement, as per the soil condition. But for mid altitude, for example, rice followed by vegetable pea. In low altitude, even after vegetable pea, you can go for a cowpea. Rice followed by lentil, mustard, or maize. Maize, French bean, cowpea. So various cropping system: okra, carrot, broccoli, tomato, French bean, potato, especially on raised and sunken bed system. Maize, then it's soybean plus groundnut. So it is a very good combination, because one is a restorative crop and then others are soil fertility building crop. Along with pineapple also, you've seen that soybean black gram we can grow. So this will conserve resources and also provide some grains to the farmers. Ginger, turmeric, we must rotate it with a leguminous crop. So we have seen that wherever we have some organic manure, we should try to integrate 2 or 3 available resources as per the availability in the farm. For example, FIM plus vermicompost, when you are using it together for last several years, we have seen that it is really building soil fertility, and it is able to meet the requirement compared to supplying only FIM or vermicompost as a single source. The system productivity over the years, we have seen that under integrated, even though it is getting good, but it is as good as 100% organic. That means applying nutrient through 100% organic, or integration of 50% organic plus 50% inorganic, both are performing well. And over the years, we have seen that 100% organic is coming as good as them, or sometimes it is better. So organic can really good perform good for the region like Northeast, where the soil organic carbon content is high. Quality wise also, you have seen that that organic farming produce, especially in case of tomato, you have seen that the most of the quality parameters like specific gravity, average fruit diameter, then TSS, acidity, all are almost either higher or at par with 100% inorganic or integrated. So therefore, we can tell that organic is giving either better quality or similar quality. But in case of economics, as I told earlier, when there is some premium price, then only organic is giving a better result. Otherwise, actually they integrated, that means 50% organic or 50% inorganic, farmer will get higher income. But in case of premium price, let's say 20% higher price, then organic is better. We have identified different cropping system. Suppose this is a raised and sunken bed model. In the down, there is we can grow rice-based system, and in the up throughout the year we can grow vegetable-based system. You can see in this model, the pea crop is seen in the sunken areas, and the raised areas, French bean, okra, maize, carrot, they are grown here. So this is a very beautiful system, and in this system we have seen that potato okra, French bean okra, carrot okra, as high as 30 tons of rice equivalent yield. Whereas in case of sunken beds, when you are growing rice followed by pea or lentil, then you are getting, for example, 15 tons of rice equivalent yield. So these are very, very efficient system for enhancing productivity and maintaining sustainability. Maize followed by French bean. In case of umiam, like mid altitude condition, especially maize is RCM 161, that means mega maize 1, and then Naga local. This system we are getting very high system productivity, 17.1 ton total maize equivalent yield. So this is a very, very efficient system for this. And in case of weed management, we have seen that in case of maize, in maize, we have seen that if you are doing mulching with fresh epitorium, I have shown you earlier. It is a locally available weed biomass. So we are able to mulch with fresh epitorium at the 10 ton biomass per hectare as fresh biomass. Then we are able to get the good maize as well as followed crop rapeseed productivity, probably due to conservation of moisture and enhancement in soil fertility. So this system, over the years, we have seen that mulching with fresh epitorium, it is giving good result in terms of weed management, in terms of good productivity of the system. Soybean green, soybean crop, actually intercropping. We have intercrop, and actually it is green manure. We have grown it, and then we have actually mixed with the soil in situ. So green manuring in situ and plus hand weeding once, it was also found equally good. So in organic, actually there is very limited options for weed management. So these are some of the options we are trying, but probably in the days to come, we have to find some better options. And pest and disease management also in case of maize. For example, Derisium plus Panchagabba plus cow urine. These three combination together, we have seen that it is giving relatively higher yield and optimal percent disease index. 2-year study we have done, and it is still continuing. Derisium is a product from Deris indica, 3 ml per liter. Panchagabba and cow urine, when we are mixing and applying, then it is giving some reasonable yield. As it was told that ginger and turmeric are the most efficient and most actually important crops of the region, which are having high demand and having most potential for organic farming in the region. So just some light on these two crops. So this is very, very potential crops, and it requires light soil rich in organic matter. April and May, just before rainy season starts, with the onset of pre-monsoon rain, this crop is grown. It requires a very high seed rate, 18 to 20 quintal, that means 2 ton per hectare of rhizome of 25 to 30 gram, and then 13 to 25 centimeter spacing in a furrow of 4 to 5 centimeter depth. Seed treatment with Pseudomonas and then Trichoderma, it reduces the ginger rot problem, which is the most important disease. So for this, identifying efficient varieties, identifying tolerant and resistant varieties should be taken up. This is the most important hindrance in promotion of ginger actually in the region. So providing adequate drainage reduces this problem, and following crop rotation also reduces this problem. So up to 20 tons of FOM along with rock phosphate, we are actually promoting under acid soil condition. It is performing well, 150 kg rock phosphate, and liming is very, very important here because soil is acidic here, and 4.5 to 5.5 is the most common soil pH here. Up to 85% to 90% soil of the region are acidic. So applying lime actually enhances the nutrient availability to crop here. Neem cake, of course, it is a very costly input, but as and how much is possible, up to 100 kg or 150 kg neem cake or other oil cake if you are applying. So it is managing soil-borne diseases, also supplying some amount of nitrogen. Mulching in whatever way, especially organic mulch, it is very, very useful. It conserves soil and water, and also supply some nutrient to the crop. Earthing up and weeding is important for ginger crop. So this is a green manuring with soybean, and after green manuring in situ, we are during maximum biomass production stage, it is actually chopped and mixed with the mixed as a is retained on the surface and covered with the soil. So these are some of the varieties like Suprabha, Nadia, Mahima, and Jamaica ginger. Nadia is actually performing very well for the region. And this is the soft rot I told, seed treatment with trichoderma and drenching and providing drainage following crop rotation. It will give good result. Coming back to turmeric, it is also very, very potential crops due to its high curcumin content. Up to 8% we have also found the curcumin content, even sometimes more compared to the other varieties in the region or outside the region. It also required well-drained soil, good organic matter in the soil, and April to May sowing time like ginger, and seed rate is a little higher here, 2 to 2.5 ton. 30 into 25 centimeter spacing will be sufficient. In raised bed and then flat bed, there are different way of planting there. Nutrient management similar to ginger, a high amount of FOM is required because it is the exhaustive crop, required a very high amount of nutrient, rock phosphate, and lime, and the neem cake can be given. Varieties here, Lakadang and RCT, RCT1, it is a variety developed by our institute, so it is performing very well and having high curcumin content. So these are two varieties. So land preparation, you know very well, planting method, rhizome-free, disease-free rhizome, we have to really identify wherever it is possible. And earthing up and should be followed as it is done in case of ginger. Mulching also here, it should be practiced. Plant protection, rhizome should be covered with well-rotten FOM or compost mixed with trichoderma to reduce incidence of rhizome rot. Neem oil 0.5 to 1% is effective against major pests, and it gives up to 10 to 12 tons per hectare, sometimes more than this if the soil is virgin. So these are some of the varieties. RCT1, I told from our institute, it is actually one of the most potential variety. It is now named as a mega turmeric one. So among the many disease and pests, the leaf spot especially is very, very important. And for this healthy planting material, clean cultivation, adoption of crop rotation, and destruction of disease plants, and use of bottom mixture 3 to 4 times, it will give a good control. And our Dr. Janta, as I have seen that he has discussed about this integrated organic farming system model. The idea is here that in the farm, no individual crop should be grown. As much as diversification is possible, it should be done, and integration of different components should be taken care. And considering this, as early as in 2004 and 5, we have started research work on this integrated organic farming system model, and we have also published in Indian Journal of Agriculture Sciences, and we also have come out with some bulletin and booklets. So the detail can be obtained from our ICAR complex museum, either through writing or through telephonically you can inform. So these are different components. We have integrated different components: cereals, pulses, vegetables, kitchen gardens, dairy units, everything. And these are the look you can see. And as I was telling, that hedgerow plant very rich in nutrient, it gives biological leaf biomass, and then we have demonstrated it in the farmer's field. Different components were there. I'll not tell it because Dr. Jayanta has already told, but here I would like to tell that you see ginger, and thereafter you are growing rice. The performance of rice is not good, but a leguminous crop like soybean or groundnut and then rice is very, very good. So this underlines the importance that we have to follow the cropping systems. A ginger crop grown in the farmer field, what we have promoted, that crop rotation, organic manuring, mulching, trichoderma rhizome treatment, drainage, and good quality planting material. So with this, this has become very, very successful in these areas. Farmers are producing organic manure, the community nursery production, they are going for pineapple production in the hilly slopes. And this is one of the most important area. That means multi-purpose trees along with fodder crops. So the idea here was to use those degraded lands, the wasteland, for fodder production, quality green fodder for the livestock, especially cattle, and then also rehabilitate degraded land, promote soil quality, carbon sequestration. So made it a win-win situation for natural resources. Like this hedgerow crops we have promoted in the farmers field also. In between crop line, we are growing this hedgerow crops, so it will supply the good quality leaves and also conserve soil and water. Food feed crops, it is most important aspects of any farming system. Here it should be win-win situation for human being, for animal. Like tuber crops like sweet potato, like colocasia, human being also need it, as well as animal also will need it. So it is a win-win situation. So we should try to promote such crops, so it will integrate better in the system, reduce the dependence on external resources, and the animal health also will be good, and there will be higher income. We are promoting also poultry as a subsidiary source of income. This outlet, our previous speaker has also told, idea was that the near highway, it will be there and they will get 20 to 20%, up to 20% higher this one price compared to if they are sold in their own villages. So with this concept we are going on, and in Tripura Center also we have developed such kind of model. In I said Tripura Center, it is hilly land. What I have been discussing earlier, it was in the hilly areas up to 950 meter above sea level, but it is in case of Tripura, it is only less than 50 meter above sea level. So these are components here. The components are different. You can see field crop, vegetable crop, spice, poultry, fishery unit, vermicompost, plantation crops. But whatever we promote, the principle is that there should be maximum recycling and integration of one component with other. And no component should be left unintegrated. There should be fodder crops. The fodder will be given to animal. The animal excreta will be given to the vegetables. The economic portion will be sold or consumed. The rest uneconomic portion, either it will be taken to the vermicompost unit or it will be recycled in the field. So a kind of relationship, interrelationship should be built in the way that there is soil fertility is maintaining. We are able to sustain the productivity. There is better nutrition because all components, vegetables, then fruits, then especially perennial components like fruits, it actually gives some kind of assurance to the farmers. They get year-round income, and also it is climate resilient, because in case of some drought kind of things also, fruits, in case of Tripura we are having, you can see that erica nut, then coconut, banana, this kind of thing. So they give really a lot of assurance to the farmer, reduces risk, and thereby make the system a sustainable one. So in this small model, we can see we are getting 66,945 rupees as net income. And of course, up to 75% nutrient requirement we are able to meet from the model, and rest we have to depend on the outside resources like biofertilizer and other organic inputs. So what should be our strategies? At last, that strategy should be that we have to identify the location-specific potential crops, livestock, and see that they're integrated in a manner that there is less dependence on other resources and there is maximum resource recycling. Capacity building up of farmers and stakeholders, it is very, very important. I told promotion of food feed crops, it is most important. It is a win-win situation for human being as well as for animal coexistence. So there will be high income and less dependence on external resources. Inclusion of local indigenous niche crops, fruits, vegetables in farming system, it is very, very important, because local crops, indigenous crops, they having some advantage. We suggest that you go for at least 20% area of your farm under local or indigenous crops or high value crops of the indigenous nature. For example, as I told in case of Tripura, the aromatic rice like Harinarayana, or in case of Manipur, we have purple rice, black rice. So those are cardamom, ginger. So these are the local crops are having adaptability to local biophysical condition and also high market price. So if we are able to have them, they are less prone to pest and diseases, and they give higher income. So in the farm, we have to see that especially in IFS model, when we adopt, at least 20% area should be given to the local crops or indigenous high value crops. Agroforestry area, wherever is possible, we should expand. So it will supply multiple purposes like fodder. It will also contribute to enhancement in milk and meat production. Identification of efficient cropping system. It is must. Maize followed by pulses. Ginger, turmeric followed by leguminous crops. So degradative system followed by fertility building system we have to adopt. Farming system approach is the must for promotion of organic farming. There is no other way. So integrated organic farming system should be promoted wherever, whenever possible. It is not as a not only for promotion of organic farming, but conservation of our natural resources, enhancing farmer income, probably doubling farmer income also can be achieved to a great extent following this model. Some small inputs like water supply system, water conveyance system, and some animal inputs, high quality seeds of multiple resistance, that if you are able to provide to the farmer, probably that system will perform better. A cluster approach is the must. As I told, isolation will not give much good result. So instead of adopting half approach, it is better to go for full approach. Identify full village organic, or a farmer, he will be fully organic farmer. In the same field, we will not go for organic. Inorganic, we will try to go for only organic or only the conventional system. Storaging, packaging, marketing, these are must for success of organic farming, enhancing farmer income, and see that the system becomes sustainable. Convergence approach, wherever, whatever resources we have available in the village or in our institute or in the cluster, we have to see that we try to integrate. For example, we have shown one small example from our village that farmers, they are going for community nursery production. So instead of going everybody everything, if one farmer go for nursery production, if few farmer go for production, if some few farmer go for marketing, and a few farmer go for organizing. So in this way, that everybody will get employment and income will be also higher. So these are some of the experiences I have shared. If there is any question, it is welcome. Thank you very much, especially our IIFSR people, especially Dr. Ravi Shankar. I have worked under him for long, and of course our Badapani people, our director sir, our ADG sir, Dr. Jayanta, and all others, and especially those who are listening to us, all the farmers, if the students, the academics people, the researcher. Thank you very much. If there is any question, you can ask me. Thank you very much. Dr. Jayanta,
please answer the screen, sir.
is there any